How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the new episode of This Podcast for Nerds. We are back and ready to party. Real quick, because we're here for the Barbie movie, Kiefer decided to get us the most festive kind of shots we could have. We know for the Jameson episode for St. Patrick's Day, we did Jameson for breakfast. This time we're going to do, what do we have here? I have 99 bananas and a truly wild berry.
I've got 99 apples and a Bacardi Limon.
Got 99 blackberries and Truly pineapple mango. Are they normally this? Are Truly's 30%?
I didn't think so.
Well, they are now.
They are now.
All right. Captains, everyone, in honor of Barbenheimer.
That's right.
Put them up.
Salute.
Anybody who doesn't do it in one shot has to immediately do their second one.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's not fair.
No faces.
That doesn't count.
Didn't make a face.
You. That tastes like you decided to.
Dude, I have goosebumps.
Taste
so bad.
This tastes like exactly how I remember, but also it
Just
tastes
banana
like you
runts.
Yes. Thank you. But you soak them in turpentine.
Yeah, 99 apples. That's
harsh.
Dude,
Jolly
It's
Rancher.
the Granny
in
Smith one
turpentine.
too. Yeah.
that was vile.
Well, we're here. So
That was vile.
welcome
And
to
thank you.
welcome to the this episode of This Podcast is for Nerds, brought to you by Spec Howard, because Calvin went there for school.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
He's dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was a real person?
Yeah, he was like a big radio personality.
I thought it was just the name of the school.
No, it was. It is, but he's named after.
It goes to show how much I'm not from Michigan. So yeah,
Today
rest
I
in
learned
peace.
too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So today, what are we here talking about today, gentlemen?
Well, this was your idea. I feel like you should introduce it.
Go ahead
so.
and do the lead-in.
So, as you all know, Blockbuster has working in Blockbuster pretty much destroyed my whole level of excitement for movies, because anything that came out that was super big, everyone rushed to the theaters. And we just we're going to have to watch it to help customers later on, and we get it for free. So I usually don't go to opening anything for movies. That's why for the Fast 10, I was like, I'm not going to do that. And these guys are like, yes, we are. I was like, I guess I'm going.
Yes, we.
And I narrowly missed the
Gotta
text.
go.
I narrowly missed the text that we were all going together, because everyone went separately for Barbieheimer, which is fantastic, because I didn't want to do that. So what I decided to do for this topic is these two went to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer. You did Oppenheimer too?
I've just done Barbie. I'm seeing Oppenheimer on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kiefer did both.
I did both.
Tag teamed it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do, because Blockbuster tended to ruin plots for me, is I'm going to take a guess. I have 5 minutes. I'm going to put it on a counter.
All right.
I'm going to guess the plot and the main themes of the Barbie movie, and you two can critique me and see how close I got. And then we can tear the movie apart and kind of see what you liked about it, what you didn't like, and do our normal spiel. So I'm going to get my timer here.
I like this a lot.
I like it.
This is going to be
So we're treating this as a media club. Do we give our scores after you give your? Are we doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
So okay, cool. Barbie Edition Media Club. Zach guesses the plot.
I like that.
Subtext.
good. This is good. This is really good.
All right, so I'm going to put a timer on now. Camera can see it. I have 5 minutes. So, Barbie movie. It's cherished. It's a toy that everyone has some sort of bond with, and they've been very progressive over the last, actually since their inception, been pretty progressive, especially in the 90s. So my guess is, if it's a doll type world, we're going to be kind of like Enchanted, where Disney characters have their own thing and they come to the real world and learn some stuff. My guess is Barbie is like the other Barbies, but feels a little different, a little off, and is paired with her particular kin. And I'm just gleaning this all from the trailers, not even trailers, just commercials I've seen.
Yep.
Ken, he mentions, I'm nothing without Barbie, so my guess is there's a bit of a depression to that, and she feels like just uphold her side to make sure he feels special, because that's the Barbie world. Goes to try to get fixed and realizes she's different, and hey, maybe you should go to the real world and learn something. Somehow that wall breaks. Not really sure. I'm at a minute now. Coming to the real world can suck, because we all live in it. Fred Durst was right. So going from a toy world, just like Enchanted, to the real human world, where there are all sorts of things that can really tear into the sunshine, man. I'd imagine that it's a bit of a shock for Barbie, but in doing so, at some point, her and Ken try to stay together. Something happens where either He gets too disjaded and gruntled and yells at her, and they separate, or vice versa. They go learn separately. He comes back a better man, either wanting to stay in the real world or wanting to go back on his own, but as a new form of kin where doesn't need a Barbie because he feels better about himself. Barbie decides either to stay in the real world or go back, but also help other Barbies who felt like her
Don't
feel
look at
better
him,
about.
Keith. Don't you look at him. Your reaction will give him clues if he's on the right path. You look at me. You look at me.
Right here. Right here. Stay here.
You got this. Stay strong.
I'm super stoked to see what you edit in for that interaction right now. Some sort of Talladega Nights thing, I imagine. This is like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm on fire, Ricky Bobby. Don't let him know.
You're not on fire.
Winfrey.
Okay, so I got 2 minutes. I honestly think it's going to be something like that. They find their own resolution as themselves, as whole people, better suited to adjust to their respective chosen worlds as opposed to what the world put on them themselves. I'm going to stop that at like 2:19, actually,
Okay.
because I don't have much else to really say from just credits.
Fair enough. Keith, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You pulled in some good insight. It was a little bit off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, thematically, I think you hit some of the kind of subplot or like kind of the things that they were trying to drive home.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I would agree. I'd say you got some stuff. I think you got some stuff right. There's definitely some changes to what happens. I want to know what Kiefer thought of the movie.
Yeah, give your rating.
we're gonna go into guitar territory because
Yeah, we're doing strings.
I think we're gonna do strings.
Okay.
It is. Let's
So
do strings.
I'm gonna give this 4.75 strings out of 5.
Ooh.
It was great.
You're touching the Knives Out territory, though. with your
I
string count.
am, and
Interesting.
I came into this so cold, honestly not knowing what to expect, and the Barbenheimer buzz had me super pulled in.
I am become Barbie.
I am become Barbie, bringer of pink.
Bringer of kin, I guess.
Yeah, right. But yeah, overall, like I really enjoyed it. I liked the topics that were touched on. I thought it was timely. For as long as Barbie's been around, I think the themes that they try to address, or that the kind of creator had tried to address with Barbie, in that you can be whatever you want to be. Like, the world is your oyster kind of thing. Like, that thematically kind of like rang for me. And it really came through in the movie as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I had no anticipation or no inkling that I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. But yes, absolutely worth a watch.
Now, give me your rating. Before Calvin gives his, I have to know.
He did.
No, before you give your rating,
Oh.
I have to know musically.
Oh.
Since you trashed Fast 10 so
man.
badly,
Interesting.
where does the music stack up for you in tying with the theme and storytelling?
I will say the music was not in the forefront for me. It was
Interesting.
And usually I'm super tuned into music as far as like how it's setting the mood, or how things are setting the stage for things, or like how this scene was underscored by this. And it was kind of just poppy, happy, just there.
Okay.
There wasn't anything that really jumped out at me or was like, oh God, this is so abrasive. So it was just kind of there and okay.
Okay. I picture kind of the equivalent, since we did Gran Torino last time. It's just you as Clint Eastwood sitting on the porch, just kind of nodding.
So great.
All right, Kelv.
Yeah, this is the perfect movie. It is.
well, how close did I get from your perspective?
I think you hit some of the stuff. We'll get into it, but I think you maybe got like maybe 30 to 40% like spot on, and
okay.
that's not bad for having no idea. Like, you've just seen a few commercials. That's not bad.
And it's a Barbie movie. Like, what's
there's-
it
I
gonna
have,
be?
I have
Yeah.
no idea what the 60% could be, honestly, because you could do anything with that universe.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. I will say I think I was a little more excited for this movie because I'm a big fan of the director and the writer. Greta Gerwig and her husband Noah Baumbach wrote this, and she directed it. I honestly, like, I left and I was like, this is the perfect movie. It's my movie of the year by far.
Whoa.
I really don't have any flaws with it. I think the music is fucking awesome.
Awesome.
I'm not a big Mark Ronson fan.
Mark Ronson did it.
Yeah, he's
okay.
He did a song with well, I gotta find it. Keep going. But he did an interesting song with someone who came back from the '90s from the rap game. That was pretty interesting.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he does that every once in a while. I feel like this is a great compilation of perfect artists for this. So like Lizzo's song was set the stage so perfectly for what the movie was going to be. And I'm a big Dua Lipa fan, so I really loved her song too.
Dua Lipa was in the actual movie too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, her and John Cena are Barbie and Ken together. They're mermaid Barbies.
One of my favorite Mark Ronson songs is called "Feel Right" with Mystical.
Man,
Oh shit, I don't know if I've heard that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yes, you will.
Hell yeah.
watch
Mystical sounds like
Man.
he sounds like James Brown in this song,
Oh, that's wild.
and I don't
That's
say that
great.
lightly. That's a
a
I
compliment.
thought James Brown was being sampled for this.
And
Oh, wow.
I feel like that's Mark Ronson's like sweet spot. That's the type of music that era, that style of music where like Mark Ronson shines. So that's very cool. I'm gonna look that up.
So my question to you is, since the Kiefer's question was music based, and that's where he's based out of.
Yeah.
For you, if you didn't know the director and the background of it, the writer, would you have still enjoyed this movie? That's your part one question. I have a part two for you, actually.
Okay. Do I answer that
Yes.
first?
Yeah, part
Yeah, I like the directing, the writing are so solid. They serve each other so well. There are segments of this movie that are so beautifully directed. There's like a dance-off type sequence between the Kens that is so genuinely, it's silly, but it is so beautifully shot. And the fact that the budget of this was so much higher than Oppenheimer is hilarious to me. But it also
seriously?
makes sense. Oh yeah, so Oppenheimer's production budget, we're not talking marketing, was $100 million. Barbie's was 150.
Wow.
Hell.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I definitely see it on the screen. There's a lot of sets that they built.
It's interesting, like seeing like your side of things, like with your background and the things that you are super into and really that drive you and things that you focus on as you're consuming media, because it's so far out of stuff that I have any context for. So it's really interesting to hear like your like, oh yeah, this set, I mean, and then this, like all of these things is like, huh.
That's
never
made
would've
it.
thought of
That's
that.
made it fun for me the first couple of seasons before you joined, because I was just like, let's do video games and anime. And I was like, hey, have you seen this foreign film? And I'm like, no. But then I loved,
crickets in the
but then I
background.
loved the ones he recommended because he like knew what I was into.
Yeah.
Well,
great.
that's how I feel about your anime recommendations.
That's true.
You've
I try
always
to-
given
I
me
know
10 out
exactly.
of
I know
10.
exactly what to give you.
Yeah. You nail it out of
Some
the
sort of
park.
psychological horror and something that's going to throw you off so bad like you don't expect. I think the one that messed you up the most was Puella Magica.
Oh, dude, to this day, I'm still fucked up off of it. I'm
So
like, this
that
is
one-
kind of cute.
that
I don't know
one-
why Zach recommended this. And then, like, episode 2, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what?
It's a hard left turn. And
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
Aikman.
big
plays
time.
it plays off like the Magical Girl anime like background.
Okay.
And then it gets real dark real fast. Like one of the girls, you expect, the magical sequence to beat this person, and then the person they're fighting goes and bites the girl's heads off.
Oh shit.
And she's like gone. She's
Yeah,
dead.
she's just straight up dead. Like 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
And I was watching it. I'm like,
Some
oh, this is like
Ned Stark
Sailor Moon. I'm down with Sailor Moon. This could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this will just be a fun little watch, and we'll have a great discussion.
I remember getting a text from him going, "What the fuck?"
You're like, I know exactly what happened right just 3 seconds before this message was sent. I know exactly what happened.
I feel like that's been every anime other than Link Click. I feel like
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what to
yeah.
expect kind of with that one, but every anime you've recommended.
Did you ever watch Death Parade? We didn't do an episode on that, I don't think.
I thought we did. I thought that was the beginning of this season.
We did do Death Parade. Okay, never
yeah,
mind.
that was the beginning of this season.
That's a
I
great
love
show
that.
too. You should watch also.
Very
Psychological afterlife, kind of like judging human condition and getting into all that.
All right.
You
all
might
right.
have listened to, if you caught up, so one thing you guys don't know, Kiefer went back. He didn't just join the podcast. He listened to every episode all the way up to
Yeah,
where he
just
joined.
about. Yeah, there was a lot to cover, but I mean, I was like, all right, I need to get some context on how this operates.
There is some real stinkers in there that now that I think about it, but I feel like this is the best season.
We can go ahead and pop those out.
What happened to season blah? No, we don't talk about
Everyone
that.
knows we have a lost episode and a couple lost episodes that get popped out of there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my part 2 question for you
Yeah.
is, you went to the movie, you watched it, you didn't know who wrote it, who directed it at all. Get to the end. Written and directed by Tim Burton. Would you still like this
son of a-
movie?
Wow, you're a real bastard for that one. I can admit when I'm wrong, and if
You don't.
You think your
like,
jaw got so stiff?
just watch the corners go.
and honestly, if everything wasn't pink, visually you could
Visually,
argue
it's Tim.
you
Burton.
could argue it's a Tim Burton.
So the minute Helena Bonham Carter shows up, you just know what's gonna happen.
There was no Helena Bonham Carter, so that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, Helena Bonham Carter is Nightmare Barbie.
Yeah, right.
Barbie. Yeah.
There is a kind of Nightmare Barbie in this movie too, which
Which
is
Oh,
is
man.
honestly
Phenomenal.
my favorite Barbie.
I love
Well,
it.
because we're
so
all into
much.
goth, so let's be honest.
Well, it's a
Oh,
different
that's
kind
my
of Nightmare
weakness.
Barbie.
It's my weakness for sure. It is definitely a different type of Barbie. This is a flawless movie. I honestly think
Really
it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
5 strings out of 5. Like no notes. I have plenty of notes, but nothing negative. It is all great.
Okay, cool. So going forward now, since you've given your review, you've given your review,
Yep.
you kind of judge where I'm right, where I'm wrong. Let's go ahead and go through the movie, and I'll ask periodic questions to get deep dives on both of your perspectives.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Sure. So the movie starts. It is a Lizzo song, very poppy, very happy. And you see Margot Robbie playing Barbie. She wakes up. She goes through her morning routine. There's some fun little like references to what I've never owned a Barbie, so I don't really understand like a lot of the nods. But there are certain things. So like she goes through her morning routine. She goes through the shower. There's no water that comes on her because obviously the Barbie dream house didn't have
Doesn't have
running water. She gets her breakfast. She goes out to the beach. She hangs out with her friends, all the Kens. They're just like kind of partying. And then she has this big party with all of her Barbie friends back at her house. They live on this like cul-de-sac that's like kind of perfect. And in the middle of the party, she goes, "Does anyone ever feel like dying?" And everyone's like,
It's
"Whoa."
like record screech. Like,
Yeah.
What?
What? Very weird. And she's like, just kidding. And then they go back to it. And then she goes to sleep. And then she wakes up. And everything's kind of off after this. And she's realizing she's having all these strange feelings about death. She's very sad, which isn't normal. And I think you mentioned the type of Barbie she is. She's considered the stereotypical Barbie. And they reference that.
Yep.
They say, when you think of Barbie in your head, that's what I am. And they have all these different Barbies. They have like a transgender Barbie. They have a disabled Barbie that's in a wheelchair. They have Barbies of different races. Issa Rae is the president of all the Barbies. It's great. Love seeing a
Spectacular.
YouTuber as a Barbie. So cool. And then all the Kens are basically, their entire existence revolves around the Barbies. They have like zero skills. Ryan Gosling's Ken is Margot Robbie's Ken.
So he's stereotypical.
Yeah, he's
Ken.
the stereotypical Ken, and they talk about how they have like Dr. Barbie. So all the Barbies can be doctors, they can be presidents, they can be lawyers. And Ken's thing is beach. It's not lifeguard. It
He's
is
like,
just beach.
I just beach though.
Yeah, I just beach.
Interesting. Is that accurate? I thought Ken did everything too.
I think it's a little.
Maybe I don't. Yeah, it feels fairly accurate.
Yeah.
So Barbie is like, I need to find out what's wrong with me, and there's this myth among the Barbies that there's this Barbie that lives at the top of Barbie Land.
All right.
I forget Nightmare. I don't know what her name
I
is.
don't remember. Weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie, I think is what it is. And they say you go talk to her, she will fix you, and you'll be back to normal. Oh, the big moment is that she steps out of her heels, and normally she's up on her tippy toes even when she's not in her heels. But in this one moment, her heels go
Just
down.
goes down, yeah.
Just like a normal person.
She goes down, and she has a little spot of cellulite, and she's like,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's such a great moment. So she goes to this weird Barbie who's played by Kate McKinnon from SNL, and she is fucking perfect.
So let's set the stage for Kate McKinnon's Barbie here. So Kate McKinnon is playing the weird Barbie. So
Okay.
this is the Barbie that has had her hair cut, that has had her hair dyed with some markers. She's in all of the mix-matched clothes that, we lost this one shoe, so we've got this other shoe on her. And she's got this top that doesn't really match the skirt. And she is just
Always in the splits.
Always in the splits, just like leg up on the wall. Like
Okay, so that gives me a lot of context too, because I saw that I was like, oh, is this like the soothsayer Barbie, like the Barbie witch doctor? Like,
it's
what's
a
going on
little
right
bit.
now?
Kind
Barbie
of, yeah.
counselor.
Yep.
They literally do the
Oracle.
Matrix thing where they're like, do you want to know the truth or do you want to just go back to normal? And it's a pink heel or a Birkenstock are her options.
It's a Birkenstock.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it was so
It
good.
feels very like crunchy Ann Arbor,
Yes.
like
I was like, oh, this is so
hippie.
granola.
I went right to Berkeley with the Birkenstocks, man. That
yeah.
took me in a weird place.
Yeah.
100%.
So
Gross.
she realizes that every Barbie has like a human that they are like linked to. And the reason she feels sad is her owner is going through something emotional. And so she needs to go to the real world and resolve that to get back to normal, to get back to her normal self.
Yeah, okay. It plays a
So
little bit
you-
off the Toy Story vibe.
Yeah.
You get more interaction from Andy as opposed to just being this kid who you have to avoid talking in front of.
Yeah.
Until the end where they traumatize him and go, hey, thumbs up. And go, oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah, that is literally like when you go to that weird kid's room from Toy Story and he's got like
Sid.
the doll, Sid, with like the cut hair and stuff. That's literally Kate McKinnon's
I love that they brought
character.
Sid back in Toy Story 4 where he's like a garbage man listening to death metal. I'm
So
so
great.
tired of like Disney movies talking trash about metalheads. Like, we're not all like tearing toys apart. I treated my G.I. Joes and my Transformers perfectly, okay? It's why I wanted to go into engineering. Don't give me crap.
Yeah, so she has the option. She can either go back to normal life or she can go resolve this issue. She wants to go back to normal life.
Would that mean her separating from her current human and switching people?
They don't really address that.
Okay,
if I
okay.
recall. So she's like, I want to go back to normal life, and Kate McKinnon's like, no, I'm not
that's
giving
not
you
the
the
fucking
choice. You
option.
have to go. You have to go
with
do
your
this.
shit.
Yeah. So she goes. She plans. She's going to go to the normal world, resolve this, and then come back. I'll let you kind of take over from here if you're comfortable with
Yeah,
that.
so from there, basically, they go to the real world, and there's this like magical mystery tour. Basically, they have to take a certain like set or like kind of types of like modes of transportation, and then they boom just arrive.
We should say Ken does tag along
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
without Barbie realizing
Oh.
yeah, so
until
she-
like halfway through the
So
trip.
she's going off on her adventure, and like as she's like, "All right, I'm gonna fix everything, and it's gonna hopefully be better." And then Ken pops up in the background, and "Oh, Jesus Christ!" So she's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Ken," basically.
Yeah.
And they find their way to the real world, and they pop out in Venice Beach, and in.
No.
This is all the marketing material that we first saw. Yeah.
And it's kind of the opposite version of Barbie Land, where like in Barbie Land, everything revolves around the Barbies.
Yeah.
So now they're in the real world, and they rock up, and there's some construction workers that are like, "Is there a mirror in your pocket? Because I can see myself in them panties." And then it's just all sorts of just rotten, just raunchy shit. She walks up, and she's like, "Excuse me, I'm trying to find," I can't remember like what she was looking for.
Yeah.
But they start just catcalling the shit out of her, and she's just like, "I actually don't have a vagina." And it was just like, what the hell? she gestures over to Ken. She's like, "He doesn't have a penis." I'm just like, did this just happen?
Well, I love when she walks up to them. She's like, "Oh, there's a construction crew. I can talk to my girlfriends and like figure out what's going on." And then all the guys are catcalling her. I'm like, this is fucking phenomenal.
So they showed actual Venice Beach. It wasn't like a.
oh yeah, they
No, it
actually
was
filmed
not
in
an
Venice
idealized
Beach.
version.
Yeah, it wasn't a California, let's all go to Venice Beach commercial.
Yeah.
It was actually Venice Beach. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, very much Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And from there, they managed to find their way. So as they're going around, they get arrested like twice.
Oh yeah, they just like take clothes because they don't have a concept of money.
right.
So
yeah.
when they first rock up, like the last mode of transportation before they get to the real world is rollerblades.
Yep.
So they get there and they're rollerblading around, and I'm just like, this is incredible, because it is the most perfect Barbie-esque like outfit that they've both got on. It's just like day glow, pink, yellow, everything.
This is the one we see in the commercials, everything, the weird tie-dye kind of thing going
That's
on.
yeah. Yeah, all the initial photos that we saw of the production was that scene.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And they end up in basically some, for lack of a better word for it, cowboy attire.
Yeah, that is where they end up. It's so great.
It's just like Okay, well, there's that.
Ken learns about horses. It's wonderful.
And Ken learns about horses, and he is
horses.
just like so his exposure to the real world is finding out about basically like the guys being the alpha, and he's just like, this is incredible. Like there are horses, and we run everything, and she's like, as she's been learning about like the real world, she's gone out and just started just seeing how things like don't line up with Barbie Land, but it's in this kind of just morose and just kind of like kind of way.
Yeah.
And so they kind of meet and they're like, you go first. No, you go first. And Ken's like, okay, I'll go. We run everything here, and there are horses, basically. And she's just like, and everything's kind of just sad here.
I feel like that was a great way to pull on everyone's heartstrings, considering the last, I don't know, 5 to 100,000 years.
Oh yeah, it's great, and there are little moments of it. So when they get there, she finds the girl that she thinks she's tied to, and the girl
they don't actually know.
Yeah, she has these visions of this girl, and she realizes who it is. I think she sees like a picture of a school yearbook. And that's how she
remember
gets
how
to
they got to the school.
So she finds the high school, goes there, finds the girl, and the girl kind of tells her off. She's like, our entire lives, Barbie has served as this unattainable image of what women should be. You should have like the perfect body. Because honestly, like they've done studies, like, and it goes the same for Ken's.
Yep.
The body type of Barbie and Ken is literally unattainable.
Well, look at back in the day for like Mr. Fantastic or Mr. Stretch Armstrong's boss. They're just normal looking dudes, like whatever, and then now everyone's just jacked, like more than Dragon Ball Z, more than bodybuilder jacked. Like Dragon Ball Z is actually kind of attainable. Some of these GI Joes, like with all the riblets, that's not attainable unless you're just gonna like have so much muscle you kill yourself just by death.
Yeah.
Dehydration or just like whatever. Like it's
Not good.
super unattainable. We know it's attainable. Me being cast in Fast 12 because Zach's getting jacked. Wasn't just a clip for the last couple episodes. That's gonna happen. I actually ate my last chocolate chip cookie today. So guess what? Next month we record. Just you wait.
The man will have a
time
12
for
pack.
Fast Zach.
Hashtag Fast Zach.
Hashtag Fast Zach.
But yeah, that's actually pretty nuts. Like that's tying in a lot of like it's like Barbie. It's like the writers are acknowledging the history of Mattel, dealing with their own research and wanting
Dealing with
to
the monster they created. kind of.
and dealing with wanting to
Maybe not necessarily. Maybe monster's the wrong word for it, but like dealing with the consequences of how things have been rolled out, shown, things like that.
Yeah, and they get into some of the Barbies that are like that only lasted one iteration because people didn't respond well to it. Like they have a pregnant Barbie, and they're like, we only did one run of it because she's a real weirdo, and like no one wanted to buy a pregnant Barbie.
Was that a real thing?
Yeah. They get into some of the Barbies that are just like insane. There's like a mom Barbie that's like breasts expand.
No, it was Skipper. It was her younger sister.
Skipper, yes, younger sister. Thank you. Yeah. Then there's like a Barbie that had a TV in her back. Like
it was fucking weird.
The cool thing to me is like Mattel helped produce this movie, and it does not paint a pretty picture of Barbie.
No.
I think it does like address some of the good things of Barbie, but it is not all positive.
I feel like overall Mattel did a good job of acknowledging themselves, like overall the last like 20 years, and wanting to address the issues that they created.
I think that's
or at least
totally
someone
fair.
in the company decided had enough power and juice to do it.
Somebody looked in the mirror and was like, hey, we have some things that we can do better.
It's like Marvel. I always credit Marvel for being more inclusive with everything because they did. There weren't other like race superheroes before Marvel said we're going to do it. Deal with it.
Yep.
End of story.
And it's paid off. I mean, this is the biggest film of 2023. It is made.
Is it really the biggest?
It's on track to be the biggest film of the year. It is the biggest opening weekend for a female director ever.
I think ever. Yeah.
Ever.
Nice.
It is made the top grossing movie of this year is Super Mario Bros. At like 1.3 billion.
Was it really?
That just means you need to see this now 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, and I will. It's so goddamn good. It's a little over a week into its run, and it has already made $770 million. It is definitely going to be the highest grossing. Like it beat out Mission Impossible 7.
Which is
hard.
wild.
Was that hard though?
Those
so
movies
There's a
usually
huge
make.
following of those.
Yeah.
I didn't realize people really cared.
It's like the Fast movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
but
It might not be our jam, but the following of those is huge.
I went and
honestly
saw
just
it. It was
didn't
fine.
know.
It was fine.
I feel like I just didn't know. Like, it's cool to me to learn the background part of it. Like,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise does mostly his own stuff. It's pretty crazy to listen to him talk about it.
Yeah.
And he was strapped to the outside of a plane going, haha, I may not come back. I was like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has crushed Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's got like half the box office.
But it's
of
also,
this.
Oppenheimer, let's be fair. Like, it did, people who were into science were stoked about that.
Oh, very excited
If you
to see
weren't
it. But yeah.
really, like, into the history of, like, World War II, science, the struggles
Christopher
behind
Nolan.
it. Yeah, exactly. Or the
Yeah,
background
and
to all that. You weren't going to really compare to a toy giant
A
going into movie form.
mainstream
100%.
toy giant.
Yeah.
It is definitely has a bigger audience. And I should say, not to shade on Oppenheimer, it is the fourth biggest Christopher Nolan opening of all time. But you also have to consider 3, 2, and 1 are the Dark Knight movies.
I was just gonna say, were those the Batman flicks?
Yeah. So that movie is doing super well, and that's got a fucking star-studded cast.
I mean, it's
too.
not a slouch. It's just who you're up against.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why the Spider-Man movie, the first one, Into Spider-Verse did well. The second one's going to do well. Now you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trying to do the same thing
Dude, I'm
to
so
bank off of
excited
that
for that
too.
movie.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
They're basically doing Enter the Spider-Verse, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It comes out this Friday. I'm so fucking stoked.
How did I not know that this was even a thing?
Seth
don't watch
Rogen
TV.
is like lead producer. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping we get that.
Splinter laughs like Seth Rogen, the worst
Dude,
Splinter ever.
That would be Krang. Krang has
Yes!
like
Shredder!
I need to talk to you.
Oh my god!
Just so you know, I'm putting your face on him. He's so great. Oh my god.
I grew up with that.
That's so good. Then, what else happens? So then they find their way to Mattel.
Yeah. This
So
part's
Barbie
great.
finds her way to Mattel, and
Okay.
she's like, "I need to see the CEO," and the CEO is played by Will Ferrell.
He loves being the Mr. Business in all these kinds of movies, man.
It just like smacked of the Lego Movie,
Yep.
like CEO, like evil to the Craggle. But yeah, then just so somehow like Mattel had already gotten wind of like there's a Barbie and a Ken in the real world, which they kind of allude to, like this has happened in the past, like Skipper somehow managed to get out and like took people hostage and was, like babysitting people in Miami, and it like, and the way that they talk about it, it was like basically like, shit got weird. So like here, like, is this going to be like a Skipper incident? And I'm just like,
no.
the Skipper incident? What the fuck? And then, like, they talk about it later. It was like, ha ha. But then it's basically they try to put her back in like a Barbie box, like it's like a full size like Barbie
Whoa.
box, and that was going to be like,
Would that be like the hard reset kind of thing?
yeah,
or-
basically.
Okay.
And then we'll get her back to Barbie Land, and then she like bolts, and then insanity ensues, and basically taking what she and Ken have learned about the real world at this point, they then head back to Barbie Land, and Ken had gone back separately, and because he was all juiced and like, guys run everything out there.
This is kind of it was like a Star Wars thing where like everyone gets evil first, and then there's like a swath of oppression going on like before he gets back, or does he raise a January 6th on us, everybody?
Basically,
A
yeah.
little bit.
He basically takes the world we currently exist in, brings it into Barbie Land. He turns it into, what does it call it? Ken something. It's not Ken Land. but-
Kentopia or something like
Yeah.
that.
I was gonna spit that one out. Honestly, it's something unoriginal but original at the same time.
He takes Barbie's house and he calls it Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Which is,
Jojo Casa House.
and so it's weird because there's this, they talk about how like the girls playing with the Barbies in the real world affects Barbie Land, but
Right.
the things that are going on in Barbie Land are also spinning things out in the opposite direction. So as Barbie gets back and finds Ken with his Mojo Dojo Barbie or Mojo Dojo Ken house, like,
How could
They
either you
cut
say
back-
that with a straight face?
Dude, you can't.
you super can't. So then they cut back to the real world, and it's this warehouse, and they're like, we can't make enough of these Mojo Dojo Casas. And there's just like forklifts and people just going ape shit, just moving this product. Oh my god.
Ryan Gosling is so goddamn good in this role.
It was
He
perfect.
took some heat for this actually.
Really?
Yes, I heard some people were mad that he was like too old to play Ken, but I thought it was kind of dumb because most actors play high schoolers when they're like 45.
God damn, he looks phenomenal in
He
this.
looks
He is
plastic.
he is shredded as fuck. Oh my
He
god.
does look a little bit dehydrated.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely.
Bro, do you need
He's
fucking water?
got veins in the V. Like it's. He is looking fucking good. Speaking of
The
Marvels,
thirst is real.
yeah, Simu. Oh, he's so fucking hot. Oh my god, it's unbelievable.
I can't come back from this.
He looks so good.
I can't financially recover from this.
We're financially recovered from this.
So question: did they ever address? You know, they mentioned Barbie's unrealistic expectations on girls. Did they address Kens on boys, or is it different because the Kens are affected by Barbies, and Barbies are affected by their owners?
It kind of comes around in
Okay.
the end, but basically, I think we're fully past the spoiler warning.
Oh, hey, what's up,
Shit.
everybody? How's it going? Spoiler alert.
So
Too bad.
basically, like how like Ken's existence, always has revolved around Barbie. Like they totally cop to that, and they're
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't need to be like this. Ken can be his own Ken, and Ken can do his Ken things. And it was a little bit of like the happily ever after ending, but it was just, they did cop to it that like it was just like, all right, everything in Ken's life revolves around Barbie.
They do the happily ever after thing, but I like that they didn't do it where Ken and Barbie end up together. She is
Yes.
very clear.
Ah,
She's
got
like,
that
I am
part
not
right.
into you, like in a relationship way.
Yeah.
I want to be, or like emotional relationship. I want to be friends.
Yep.
So G.I. Joe swoops in, and
Well, the cool thing is, so like as she's escaping the Mattel headquarters,
Yes!
he loved it.
He's good. He's picturing all this, and I'm like, oh, that would have been fucking great. Like, and then I'm picturing, all right, who would they have gotten as fucking G.I. Joe?
The Rock. It's going to be The Rock,
Yeah. I was
Because
gonna say
John
John
Cena's-
Cena, but
his-
John Cena is a mermaid Ken,
which makes it even better for him to show up as The Rock.
Yeah,
Or
they
Vin
fight each
Diesel.
other.
Yeah.
So there's a part where she's escaping Mattel and she ends up on this weird floor and she's talking to this woman. She's this older lady and it's kind of like very cryptic, but you're like, is that the creator of Barbie? Come to find out it is. And she basically offers Barbie the opportunity to be a real human. She doesn't have to be a Barbie anymore. She can go into the real world. And Barbie decides that she wants to do that. And like Barbie Land's kind of resolved. Everything's kind of happy. Oh, there's a big battle. I had mentioned this great directing scene, and I completely skip over it. There's this battle between all the Kens, and it is fucking awesome. It's just a dance-off.
dance battle.
Oh, okay.
And it is incredibly choreographed, beautifully shot.
Yeah.
All of the above. And I do remember, like, I don't remember what the music was, but I remember the music did underscore that well.
Well, it is an original song, and it's
Oh.
Ken talking about himself, about how he's enough, and he talks about I am Kenough. He's got this like sweater that says I am Kenough on it.
See, honestly, when
So
I picture
great.
what you're describing, it's a mixture of the volleyball scene from Top Gun and every Bollywood movie I've seen, because no one does
That is
dance
perfect.
choreographs.
That is
better than
incredibly
Bollywood.
perfect.
That is the most apt description because they literally fight each other on the beach. It is beautifully
Yes.
shot, and then the dance off is in this like warehouse
Zach
sort of
just
thing.
bumped up to 50%.
Oh, I'm giving you 100% with that. You nailed that shit.
the look that we exchanged was just like, Jesus Christ, that's perfect. Oh my god.
Because no
the
one does
volleyball,
no
because
one
it's
does better choreographed.
slightly homoerotic with Bollywood.
No one does that better than Bollywood movies. I just
my
watched
God.
Pathan recently. Actually, that's gonna be my next recommendation for what we need to watch. It's Pathan. It's a great movie. I
Ooh.
loved it so much. The soundtrack's fantastic.
I
Shout out
was
to
thinking
Jim.
you were going to say RRR because that was a hot
Oh.
one last year.
I'm
Also,
going to blow
yeah.
your guys' mind right now.
What's up?
I have never watched a Bollywood movie.
We have to do it together then.
They're so much fun.
I mean, it looks. I've seen bits and pieces, and of course, it's always like shit on like a YouTube short or,
Yeah.
or like a Facebook or Instagram reel,
Yeah.
and it always looks insane and a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you think the fast movies are over the top, these Bollywood movies are insane. They're like picking up cars like that are being thrown at them and like
And that's what I love about it. It like fast movies are trying to make it seem like this is possible when everyone knows it's not.
Yeah.
Bollywood doesn't care.
It's just
They're just here to
right
give
out.
you a good ride, and that's what I care about.
yeah.
With some dope music. Shout out
Oh,
to
yeah.
Pathan and all the cast and directors and music for that. It was an amazing movie. Anyway, so cool. I got that part right. 'Cause that's the first thing I
Yeah.
thought is like
Man, that
volleyball
was
scene in
incredible.
Yeah.
Bollywood.
Oh, I mean, I really do think you got a lot of the elements. It's just more like the fact that the Kens take the real world and bring it back and like try and build a more real world.
Was there a
centric.
rift between Kens who wanted it to stay the same and Kens who wanted to change?
No,
You said
all the
it was
Kens were in on it. So
Okay.
the way that they kind of divide and conquer is that the Barbies have all been kind of brainwashed once Ken comes back and are like subservient to all of them. So the Margot Robbie's character comes in and she's like trying to like unlock them to like try and realize like
That's
this
messed up.
this isn't okay.
Yeah.
So then they all start like dating the Kens and like making them jealous of each other. So then the Kens decide to fight each other. It's fucking amazing.
You know what? This movie, I'm not gonna watch it, but I love how it touches on a lot of real stuff. That's
you
awesome.
should watch
I
this.
could not recommend this movie more.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Blockbuster. That's my answer to that.
But this isn't like your typical. I wouldn't say this is the typical like blockbuster movie where it's like super accessible. It is like beautifully shot, really well written.
It's fun.
very fun. Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you that by the time we record again, I would have seen it. But as the stance is right now, what is this? July 30th. Having 50% movie done already without having to watch it.
I think there are moments you would really enjoy.
I think there's a lot of stuff. Like Weird Barbie is like really one of the fun standouts, and
Yeah.
the way that Kate McKinnon played it was absolutely just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Kate McKinnon because you're awesome overall. So
Yeah,
she rocks.
I agree.
But everybody like that played their role, like there was nobody that was miscast. Like everybody was perfect.
Nice.
And I think that's like on top of it being like pretty and immaculately shot, it's a fun ride.
Okay, I have a question for you now then, because it's specific only to you because you've done both. Which movie did you see first, Oppenheimer or Barbie?
So we went into it with Oppenheimer first because we were pretty sure it was just going to be heavy.
Fair.
Yeah.
And we wanted something that was a little bit more lighthearted
Coming
after
out
the
of it,
fact.
okay.
And it was more lighthearted, but it did touch on like some, I don't want to say touchy points, but like key, like important issues of society and culture and these things. So it wasn't all just a puff piece. So
Okay.
it was a good order of operations for sure. It would have been a bad day, like to do Barbie and then Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, Barbenheimer for the win. Like it was an incredible, we torched an afternoon. Like we were at Imagine from 12 until like almost 7.
Nice.
Hell
and
yeah.
it was spectacular.
Yeah.
So do you feel that, given that, do you feel that between the two movies, quality-wise, would you have had the same perspective if you had done Barbie before Oppenheimer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think as a piece of standalone media and what it was bringing to the table, I don't think anybody can discount that.
Okay.
I think it was really like Calvin said, everything was exceptionally well done.
Okay.
And the themes that were touched on and how everything was approached was just
And because I'm so good at this and I know how to read both of you differently, I have a good question for Calvin now coming next.
Okay.
You've touted this movie to be quite high in your list of movie of the year.
It is my movie of the year.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we're in July.
Yeah, what else do we have coming out?
That's my question. Is there anything you see that you're excited about that could possibly contend with this? And I don't mean numbers, I mean your personal enjoyment factor.
Yeah,
based on
so
all the things that are around it.
That is, yeah, that's a good point. I saw a movie yesterday that comes close, but does not, I don't think, beats it.
Okay.
It's called Talk to Me. It's a horror
Sounds
movie
familiar.
from A24. You may have seen some trailers for it. It's where these kids at parties will
The
touch
hand,
this
right?
hand. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fun thing about my ethnic background, we know a lot about voodoo, curses, witches, things like that. There's a reason why we don't take the last to left turn on the left in the woods in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been tricked before and it
Yeah.
ended us up on a boat. So no, not gonna do it.
So great.
See you later.
I'm not participating. That movie came really close for me.
Okay.
I like A24, so I looked at the trailers and I saw A24, and that's usually like a green flag. I'm like, A24, they
It
have some
is-
stinkers, but I
It
have.
seems overall pretty solid. Even though I don't like horror stuff, it seems overall the quality is there.
Yeah, they make a good movie. And the trailers that I watched, I was like, it doesn't look that exceptional to me. I'm like, it seems like a pretty standard horror movie. But I was like, A24, sure, I'll give it a shot. my friend really wanted to see it, so I was like, okay, that's the second. The third thing to me is that it's made by YouTubers. They're these Australian YouTubers called Raka Raka. They're super fucking popular.
Okay.
Doing a lot of comedy stuff, and I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. And I went and saw it, and I was pleasantly surprised. This movie is fucking awesome. I don't think it beats out Barbie, and I don't think there's anything else this year that's coming out that is gonna beat it.
Okay.
I saw Past Lives, which is a really good Korean drama, but like even that doesn't beat Barbie for me. So,
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything this year that'll beat it.
When we were like watching the previews before Oppenheimer and Barbie, like my wife turns to me, she's like, "Was all this shit?"
That's such a okay. Having just met your wife, I can picture that and just very direct.
Dry,
like what the hell? Like,
Well, now I need to know, what were the trailers that played?
It was the Exorcist sequel, which
That looked really bad. We just saw that yesterday.
and I don't like all of it was so unremarkable. Like
Exorcist or Red
nothing.
Door?
What's that?
Exorcist or Red Door?
Exorcist.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a sequel
Red-
to that?
Yeah,
Ah, wow. Okay.
and
But
I
it's
think-
got what's her face? Gosh, she's in Leftovers. She's a great actress. I cannot think of her name.
Oh, I never watched that.
I'm gonna look it up while
But
you,
yeah,
while you
like
talk about
the
it.
Calm, don't tell us any crap for looking anything up
Yeah.
right now.
right? all of the stuff that they had in previews before both Oppenheimer and Barbie, and that's a pretty wide gamut
Oh, yeah,
of
for
what you're going to be
sure.
exposed to as far as trailers are concerned. All of it was just,
Kind of boilerplate, huh?
It really, yeah, like devoid. Like it was like, all right, well, this is a rehash of this. All right, well, Exorcist 2, great. Or like, oh, well, that's a bog standard horror movie, or this is a bog standard like chick flick, happy, what the fuck ever.
Yeah,
Like there wasn't anything that stood out like, holy dog shit.
I've been running into that too because I think a couple episodes ago, Calvin asked me what animes are popping up in the watch. I was like, honestly, just really nothing right now. Nothing is. I am excited. The newest season of What We Do in the Shadows is out now.
So good.
Episodes are dropping. I'm stoked about that. But
Yeah.
other than that, it really hasn't been a bunch that's really caught my attention enough to want to even recommend on the podcast.
dive into.
Yeah.
Well, are we at that point where we talk about what we've been watching?
Almost. I have two more questions for each of you because I came slightly prepared.
Ooh.
Kiefer,
Hit me.
bouncing back to you. You said that you didn't really have the music was there in the movie, but it wasn't really much to like draw you in. What could have been added to that, or even what genre or artist would you think would have had a good contribution to made you feel more connected to the movie?
Ooh, man, that's a good one.
That's a fantastic
That's
question.
a really good one. Now that Calvin had brought up like the Lizzo stuff, I liked that because as the music is going on, she's talking about what's going on in Barbie's life,
Right.
And like that second morning after the Barbie girl party, like when like the things are like the weird things are starting to happen. Like Lizzo's like basically narrating, singing like what is going on. So like I did enjoy that, but if I were to bring in something that like would fit better, man, like I truly am at a complete loss for what I would want to bring in because anything that would be my typical jam is going to be completely juxtaposed and broken. You're like, well, we're going to give you this compound time signature with a bunch of complex math rock. Just get the fuck out of here. So that doesn't jive. But I mean, there wasn't anything that was grating or bad about it. So I will say that. Whereas like the Fast and the Furious stuff was just like
It was a lot of
rap.
like,
oh my god,
yeah, a lot of
what is
bachata,
this?
there's a lot of like reggaeton, like it was stuff. Yeah,
Yep. So like,
I just still have the image of you looking stone faced.
just like this.
That had me laughing more than the movie. I think.
Right?
Look
Yeah.
over at Calvin and I would be reacting and laughing. You just be like,
Just stone face. Just
It was like a double whammy. Like I was having such a fun time reacting at how terrible the movie was, and then I'd get to look over and Kiefer's just like, "This fucking sucks."
yeah, I'm sitting there yelling about quality control and vehicles who can't do that, and Kiefer's just like,
God.
none of it matters. Everything sucks.
So a little bit of a non-answer, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good answer, honestly. So, Calvin,
Yeah.
for you, they mentioned the first night where everything's kind of perfect in Barbie world to set the scene, and the next day we're kind of like the reality of Groundhog Day is kind of being shattered a little bit.
Yeah. That's a great.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day is
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
From your perspective, from the transition and the timing between when we start to see what the perfect day is like to when they start to show the transition of her like mental state, kind of what's happening, do you feel like the pacing was proper to be able to tell the story and get people involved in what's happening? Because they're tackling a lot of core concepts in the movie.
Yeah.
And if you keep throwing things at people too fast, sometimes they can't really immerse themselves in what's the character's development, especially when you have two characters doing the same thing and affecting big parts of the world back to back.
Yeah, I don't know how you felt, but I felt like the pacing was kind of perfect because I think you could run into an issue where they take too much time explaining stuff. Like some of the rules aren't super clear, and I don't really think it's necessary.
Right. You can have people fill that in by context.
Yeah. So no, I think the pacing was really good. I was curious how long, because seeing the trailers, I think there is a moment where she has that where it's like the record scratch where it's like, do you ever feel like dying? And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be just like surface level Barbie. When I saw the trailers, I was like, oh, this is going to be a little deeper than that. And when I sat down, I was like, well, I wonder how long it's going to take to get there. I'm like, is this going to be like 30 minutes of like building the Barbie world? Yeah. Then she starts to have that and then we resolve. I think within like 10 to 15 minutes, we're already like deep into like, this is what the movie's going to be about, trying to resolve her issues with being Barbie, talking about what it's like to be a woman in the real world, the dynamic relationships between men and women, super interesting. I thought the pacing was kind of perfect. So,
I thought that the depth and pacing of exposition, like especially in that, this is our perfect little world.
Yeah.
Like Aqua got money the entire time, and then like into like, all right, and now there's a wrinkle. like all of like that progression, like I thought that totally worked.
Okay.
Like,
there was
nothing felt rushed or overexposed.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah, and there's a great moment where, so we didn't even talk about it, but America Ferrera's in this movie, and she's the actual owner of the Barbie.
Super stoked to see her again, by the way.
Yeah, like literally, there's a monologue that she gives in this where if they do not at least give her the Oscar nom, I will be furious. She talks about the expectations that women have in society and how counterintuitive it seems, and it is so fucking awesome. And like the whole time Margot Robbie's like talking about how hard it is to be her, and then Dame Helen Mirren comes in the voiceover and she's like, editor's note, Margot Robbie is the worst fucking person to talk about how hard it is to like be a woman because she's so goddamn beautiful. It's so great. I love that moment. So
Helen Mirren as the narrator, like there's not a lot of narration, but like initially to again like just the right amount of exposition at the beginning, and then the random interjection of just like,
I do love a good fourth wall break, honestly.
Yeah, and the movie does a great job of it. And it also ties it into Fast because Dame Helen Mirren is fucking
everywhere.
In Fast. Is in the Fast movies.
So what I will say too, I said I had a question for both of you. Now, so here's a combo question for the both of you, since you both answered these so well. Mind you, this question came up in a 0.25 milliseconds of my thought process that you're both answering. This movie did so well, and it seems to be beloved by a lot of people. Do you think that they will try to capitalize and destroy it by creating a number 2? And if they do create a number 2, what premise would make sense to make it to have the same theme and impact as the movie currently has?
Do you want me to answer first? Because I can kind of ruin this.
I mean,
Netflix. That's all you have to say.
Well,
Also sponsor us.
Mattel has already said that this movie has been so successful that they have like 6 other movie ideas that they're going to do based off of.
What the heck is going on, my dude?
Which is infuriating to me because I know they're not going to get another Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach to do something that will be critical on their brand.
That's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I do not think this movie. I don't think this movie would be as successful if it was not critical of the Mattel company and of the standards it created for the unrealistic standards it made for women.
Yeah, because it's really so. I mean, I could see them doing one more movie, maybe, and getting a slightly different demographic. But I couldn't see them squeezing out 6 and then still saying, "Hey, look at how bad we're doing and how good we are at the same time."
Yeah,
doesn't quite work.
So
Kiefer.
It bums me out to hear that they're planning more, because I don't think there needs to be more. I think this.
Fair.
I think the statement that they made with this,
and
what they were trying to convey, I thought it sang beautifully.
Okay,
and I thought it worked. Also, at the end of the movie, Barbie decides to become a real woman.
I'm so glad you're touching on this.
Yep. And, well, I mean, that's basically where it's going.
Yep. You wait.
What?
So
No.
you see her, and she's going into the real world, and she shows up to this office, and the receptionist is like, "How can we help you today?" And she's like, "I'm here to see my gynecologist."
Okay.
End scene. That's the end of the movie.
It's
okay,
perfect.
that's
Well, they're
Definitely better than I was
teasing it.
anticipating, but you guys just like weird stares at me right now.
Well, they're teasing it. Like the whole drive up, she's like wearing a business suit. She's with America Ferrera, her daughter, the husband, and it seems like she's going for a job interview. She's gonna be she's gonna have like a role, and then you realize because the moment she like talks about how she's gonna be like a human, my wife and I like go to each other like, do you think she's gonna get like a vagina now? Like, is that gonna happen? And then they end the movie with her going to her gynecologist. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but it's also a call for people to go see their damn doctors. Like,
yeah, which is also I'm
care
pro
of
that.
yourself.
I'm pro that. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm so glad that's how it ended versus what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh my gosh.
I just pictured the couch.
Oh no. No, Jesus Christ.
I was like, come on, you guys
The
are doing.
complete antithesis to the entire messaging of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, there's been the 50% I missed has been kind of shocking. So I'm, I don't know.
That would have been a solid 50% to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, Margot Robbie, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Well, the fact that they even had the characters talking about their genitals, I mean, because that's everyone grew up with, like, okay, what's this weird plastic part? But like,
Also,
Yeah.
Ken had nipples and a belly button, and I thought that was weird.
That is weird. 'Cause I think Barbie doesn't have nipples, does she? It's just
I don't think Barbie has a belly button either.
oh, dude, free the nip still hasn't really happened. So like, Barbie definitely didn't have it. Kid did though.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
well, because he's a man, so probably.
What ornaments?
G.I. Joe didn't.
Really? I thought he did. I swear I had a G.I. Joe with nipples. Maybe not.
I
definitely had
I
abs.
Transformers and guns.
Chime in the comments if you know
Yeah.
if your action figures had nipples or not.
I do remember I had a Dragon Ball Z figure that had nipples.
That absolutely had
Dude,
nipples.
Goku didn't care about anything. He would cut glass with that.
Yeah.
He was stripper-
They were always fully erect.
He was stripperella. Like he wouldn't go Super Saiyan until like
Yeah.
Until
know.
everything was
yeah, that's the
go.
That's
Oh
the
my
that's
God.
the Saiyan blood and just the sparkly nipples, man.
Oh my god.
Okay. This is a beautiful episode. I like this.
Yeah, thanks to 99.
99 everything.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I felt this like halfway through the podcast.
Yes.
I had a physiological reaction to start sweating a little bit, and after that, it's just gone.
I'm kind of enjoying like this slightly buzzed version of the the podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
We need to
think
do this every time.
We weren't worse than when we came here after watching Fast. Honestly.
That's a good
That,
point.
like still like coming down after the Gin Diesel and the giant fucking Two Hearted, and then
you two,
also
you
being
two
just
definitely beat me
tired.
that night for that one. That was all sorts of, and then getting lost because all the construction. Like,
Oh,
I remember,
Oh yeah, because this is all fucked up over here.
no, the bridge was out. 'Cause I didn't
Oh,
think-
yeah.
I got off the freeway early to try to cut across, and then,
On
like,
12,
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like I was like, wait
yeah.
a minute, and I was like,
Yeah.
Shit.
and Kiefer's like, well, I have food. Where are you guys? We're like, we're coming.
we gotta go.
All right, everybody. So this has been our impromptu media club review
I
of.
want to know what you guys are consuming though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Okay, yeah, do that.
Start with Zach. I feel like Zach hasn't gotten to talk much this episode.
That's not true. I've been hopping in the Barbie land. You know,
I like hearing your voice. So
I,
it makes the edit
The
more enjoyable.
the dulcet tones.
I will
Yeah.
say that
Zach
you know
and Buren.
Calvin's experience with Specs Howard, rest in peace, has made us sound absolutely fantastic through these microphones here at Grove Studios. What am I consuming right now? New seasons of animes are popping out. So Baki's next season is out right now. What We Do in the Shadows is out right now. So maybe we'll go into that. Maybe not. I haven't found
Baki
anything.
Netflix. Sorry, I didn't mean
Baki
to
is
interrupt
Netflix,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing I've really wanted to bring to the podcast that has the same kind of like depth to it. Some of it's kind of been boilerplate. Like I'm watching something called Hell's Paradise. Cool. It's a really cool concept, but it's not like super deep.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like doing that. I think musically, nothing really right now. Honestly, I've actually been really deep into. I'm redoing my desk. Kiefer and I were talking about that before I got in.
Yep.
So, redoing my office setup and getting in and just setting everything up to code and all this other fun stuff. So,
Cool.
I may have more media stuff going forward. Right now, it's just kind of the same kind of like lo-fi, get my work done, ADHD management stuff right now.
Feel you. Feel you on that. Kiefer. What do
All
you
right. So new Sevendust dropped on Friday.
Yeah.
It is a banger. I haven't really had a chance to dig in too hard as of yet, but we had some driving to do yesterday evening. We headed down to Toledo with some friends for dinner and some festivities. Got to partake in a little bit of that. Really excellent. Also, this is their 13th album.
That's so wild.
Really? That's awesome.
Like, they have been around for absolutely ever, and I think they've evolved in a really meaningful, just a spectacular way. And shout out to all those guys in that
Queuing
band.
it up
They are
right
the
now, actually.
nicest dudes. Randomly, Susan and I bumped into them at the Sky Lounge in Atlanta when we were on our way down to Miami, and it was just like, holy shit, I think that's the guys from Sevendust. And they're the nicest dudes. And, I mean, congratulations on another excellent release, guys. The rest of the media, what am I consuming? Second season of The Foundation on Apple TV.
Oh, that's out, yeah.
Started digging into that, and it's, again, Isaac Asimov sci-fi weirdness at its finest. Really good stuff. Really enjoying the story and the progression of things again so far. And then another one on... I think it's also Apple TV, Silo, and it's
Dude, Silo rules. Oh my god,
man, really enjoying this so far.
And that's the mom from Dune.
The mom from Dune and Tim Robbins of Shawshank Redemption fame.
Yeah,
Good
really
to see him back and
enjoying-
doing stuff again. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's been out for being not out by choice.
I haven't seen him in anything in what feels like an eternity, so
Yeah.
it was cool to see him pop up, and like the role that he's in is, I want to say, kind of the most anti-Tim Robbins role, because I mean he's always kind of portrayed as just, I don't want to say the everyman or the kind of the innocent guy. Basically, because my entire exposure to Tim Robbins is kind of revolves around Shawshank Redemption.
Fair.
sure, yeah.
So to this point, like, I'm not super far into it, but he does not seem to be playing a good guy. So I'm like, I am intrigued. So that's the media I'm consuming right now.
Right
Cool.
on.
For me, it's been Right With You, What We Do in the Shadows. I've not seen the latest episode. We just got our power back.
Oh yeah, I haven't caught up either, honestly.
So the most recent one I saw was the Pride Parade, which was a great episode. Talk to Me, highly recommend. I would say even if you're not like a big horror person, it's not super graphic. And I think the themes that they talk about, like dealing with grief and using drugs and alcohol to deal with that, is super interesting. That was a great movie.
What's that available on?
It is only in theaters right now.
Copy that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, but A24 has a deal with HBO, so I imagine it'll probably end up on HBO Max eventually.
Okay, cool.
So you can wait if you are busy, but I highly recommend it. I think it's super good. It's not very long. I think like an hour and a half.
Okay.
But very cool. Got to support those YouTubers when they're doing cool stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing that. I just saw the Haunted Mansion remake on Friday.
I actually do want to see that because my boy Danny DeVito's in it. And
Danny DeVito is
everyone's in this movie, but Frank from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in this movie.
Yeah. So it's Lakeith Stanfield instead of Eddie Murphy. I'm a big Lakeith Stanfield fan, and he is really phoning it in on this one.
Really?
Danny DeVito saves this movie along with Tiffany Haddish. They're like the best parts.
Okay.
The movie feels like one big product placement. I can think of like 6 or 7 references. They'll like say, "Oh, let's go to Costco and get this," and you could argue that it's like, "Oh, they're being funny about it."
Yeah.
But there's literally a scene where Lakeith Stanfield's like talking about his dead wife, and he's like, "She went to go get Baskin Robbins because she just loved ice cream so much," as he's crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Well,
It's a lot.
know-
Wait for it to stream, I would say.
yeah, I will say that, learning who the big bad was made me laugh.
Dude.
More than I could possibly laugh.
So
in my
crazy
entire
to
life.
me. So I'm sitting there because my wife wanted to see this. It's the only reason I saw it. She was like, "I really want to see it." I was like, "Sure." I love the ride. The ride's fun. And she was like, she nudges me when he comes up. She's like, "You know who that is?" And I'm like, "No, I can't even tell." She's like, "Yeah, it's Jared Leto." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh my God.
They hired that fucking Predator for this fucking movie? Because it's
Not the response I thought.
it is such a waste. You can't tell it's him by his voice. You can't tell it's him visually because it's mostly visual effects. So I'm like, why put him in it?
What a waste.
He's like at the tail end of the credits. So I'm like, you're not making money by saying he's in this movie. It's so weird.
Well, all I can say about that is we're gonna move on to a movie that I think we talked about. I may have talked about. Did we ever talk about Bullet Train on this show?
We have not. I know you wanted to talk about it.
I think it briefly came up, but I
Because
think
you
passing.
recommended it to me.
Yes.
That was a fun ride.
How much of a great ride was that?
So that I will say that was what I consumed that I can recommend because that was fun. Like I'd watch it again. It's like
I think visually speaking, Calvin, you might kind of dig it. I think it's going to be polarizing for you because I think you're going to either love it or you're going to hate it.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
And I hate it.
well, that sounds like something we dive into the next intro of this podcast is for nerds. Oh my god.
We definitely have to talk about that movie next. So. All right. Beautiful.
And now for my next number, I'd like to return to the classics.